In 2008, Daniel was a 22-year-old college graduate living in Chicago. Like thousands of other young people, he was struggling to find a good job. Every morning looked exactly the same. Wake up, send applications, receive rejections, and repeat. Weeks turned into months. His confidence slowly disappeared. One evening, after another failed interview, Daniel sat alone at a bus stop. Rain was falling. His phone battery was dead. His wallet contained less than $20. For the first time in his life, he felt completely lost. As he waited for the bus, he noticed an elderly man sitting nearby. The man was reading a book. Despite the cold weather, he looked calm and focused. After a few minutes, the old man stood up to leave. But before walking away, he accidentally dropped a small notebook onto the ground. Daniel saw it happen. He had a choice: ignore it or return it. A tiny decision, one that seemed completely unimportant. Daniel picked up the notebook and ran after the man. "Sir, you dropped this." The old man smiled warmly. "Thank you." Then he asked, "Do you enjoy reading?" Daniel laughed. "Honestly, not really." The old man smiled again and handed him the book he'd been reading. "Then start with this one." Daniel hesitated, but accepted it. A small decision, another tiny moment, nothing special. At least that's what he thought. That night, instead of watching television, Daniel opened the book, just for a few minutes. The book talked about discipline, habits, and personal growth. Something about it felt different. For the first time in months, he felt hopeful. The next day, he read another chapter, then another. Soon, reading became a daily habit. One book turned into 10 books turned into 50. His mindset began to change. Instead of complaining about rejection, Daniel started learning new skills. He took free online courses. He improved his communication. He learned digital marketing. He learned sales. And most importantly, he stopped waiting for opportunities. He started creating them. Months later, Daniel landed a small entry-level position at a marketing company. The salary wasn't impressive, but he worked harder than anyone else. Every evening, he continued learning. Every morning, he continued improving. 5 years later, Daniel became one of the company's top performers. 10 years later, he started his own business. What began as a small consulting service eventually grew into a multi-million-dollar company. People often asked him the same question: what was the secret to your success? They expected him to talk about money, connections, or luck. But Daniel always gave the same answer. It started with a notebook. People laughed. They thought he was joking, but he wasn't. Because if he had ignored that notebook, he never would have met the old man. He never would have received that book. He never would have developed the habit of learning. And his entire future might have looked completely different. The truth is, success rarely arrives in one giant moment. It usually begins with a small decision. The decision to start, the decision to learn, the decision to keep going when nobody believes in you, the decision to take one step forward, even when the future is unclear. Today, you may be standing in front of a small choice, something that seems insignificant. Maybe it's reading one page, making one phone call, learning one new skill, or trying one more time. It may not look important today, but years from now, it could become the decision that changes everything, because the power of one small decision is often greater than we can imagine. Subscribe to Reset Life for more powerful motivational stories that can change the way you think, live, and grow.